It started off like any other Saturday morning. The air was cool, the sun barely rising, casting soft golden light through the blinds. I was halfway between asleep and awake, listening to the soft snoring that had become the soundtrack of my life for the past 2 years. That snore didn't come from a person. It came from Winston, my French Bulldog. He wasn't just a dog. He was my shadow, my little roommate, my stress reliever, my everything. I work long hours, live alone, and Winston was that quiet presence that made everything feel less heavy. People always said, Frenchies are high maintenance. I'd laugh it off. I mean, how much trouble could a little 25-pound dog really be? That morning, something felt off. Winston didn't jump up when I moved. Normally, he was the first to wake up, pawing at my face, demanding breakfast. But today, he just lay there, his breathing shallow, his big round eyes blinking slowly at me. I tried to lift him gently, and that's when he whimpered. It wasn't loud, but it was a kind of sound that made my heart twist. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he pulled a muscle, maybe he was just tired, maybe he ate something weird. But within an hour, he refused food, didn't move, and his breathing sounded worse. That little snore everyone always thought was so cute, it was now a raspy struggle, like he was fighting for every breath. I didn't waste another second. I wrapped him in a blanket, rushed the car, and drove straight to the nearest 24-hour emergency vet. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Every red light felt like it lasted forever. I kept glancing at the passenger seat, whispering, "Hang on, buddy. Please just hang on." When we got there, the techs rushed him in while I stayed back to fill out paperwork. The receptionist asked for a deposit just to start the examination. I handed over my card, barely even looking at the number. I just needed answers. I just needed him okay. An hour later, the vet called me into a small room. She had that look. You know the one. Professional, calm, but slightly heavy, like she had to be the bearer of a truth I didn't want. Your dog has a condition called Brachycephalic obstructive airway syndrome, she said. It's very common in French Bulldogs. Their facial structure, flat nose, compact airway, makes breathing difficult, especially as they get older. Right now, his airway is dangerously restricted. He needs surgery. I blinked. Surgery? Yes, she said gently, and sooner rather than later. Without it, he could go into respiratory distress. My throat closed up. I nodded, numbly. I wasn't going to lose him. Not like this. Then came the cost breakdown. X-rays, blood work, anesthesia, oxygen therapy, the surgery itself, post-op monitoring, pain medication, follow-up appointments, $4,280. I stared at the number. For a moment, it didn't register. It looked like Monopoly money. I felt sick, not because of the amount, but because of how unprepared I was for it. I thought I was doing everything right. Regular checkups, good food, lots of love, but nothing in the adoption papers, nothing in the cute Instagram posts, nothing in the breeder's sweet talk prepared me for this. Still, there was no decision to make. I approved everything. I would have sold my car if I had to. This little creature had filled my life with more joy than I could explain. And now, it was my turn to show up for him. The surgery took place that evening. I waited alone in the parking lot. I couldn't go home. I couldn't sit in the silence. I sat there in my car, looking at old photos and videos of him. The one where he fell asleep in his food bowl. The one where he tried to bark at his own reflection. The one where he wore a little birthday hat and looked utterly unimpressed. 3 hours later, the vet called me back. He's stable. The surgery went well. He'll need to stay overnight for monitoring, but he's going to be okay. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The tears came hard and fast. In the days that followed, Winston came home with stitches, meds, and a new breathing rhythm. For the first time, he didn't sound like he was struggling. The silence was strange, but comforting. He rested better, ate more calmly, and moved with less hesitation. But something else shifted too, inside me. I dove deep into research, trying to understand how something so common in Frenchies was so rarely talked about. I joined online groups, forums, read veterinary journals. Turns out, this wasn't rare at all. French Bulldogs are prone to all kinds of health problems. Spinal issues, skin allergies, chronic ear infections, digestive disorders, and most dangerously, breathing complications. Their cuteness hides a painful truth. The very traits that make them so lovable, the smushed face, the wide chest, the stubby legs, are a result of selective breeding that has traded function for form. And yet, nobody really tells you this up front. The breeders won't. The pet stores definitely won't. Social media? It's full of filters and fancy collars. But no one shows you the emergency vet visits, the monthly meds, or the $5,000 credit card debt. That vet bill nearly broke me. Not just financially, but emotionally. Because for a few terrifying hours, I thought I was going to lose Winston. I thought that snore I'd laughed at for 2 years was something I should have worried about. Would I do it all again? In a heartbeat. But I would have prepared better. I would have gotten pet insurance from day one. I would have set aside an emergency fund. I would have asked harder questions. I would have seen past the Instagram perfect snapshots and asked what was happening behind the scenes. Winston's doing better now. He still follows me around like a shadow. Still hogs my pillow. Still gives me that judgmental look when I'm 5 minutes late feeding him. But every time I see him breathe easy, every time he runs without gasping, I know he got lucky. Not every Frenchie does. So if you're thinking about getting one, know this. They will change your life in ways you can't imagine. But behind those big eyes and bat ears is a breed that needs you to be ready mentally, emotionally, and yes, financially. Because sometimes love isn't just about cuddles and treats. Sometimes it's about showing up with a blank check and a prayer. Sometimes it's about waiting in a cold parking lot while your best friend fights for air. And sometimes love costs $4,280 and counting. But if you ask me, he's worth every single penny.